Hey Jamil, thank you so much for today that I got this opportunity to talk to you, to ask you a few questions.
Well, it's good to see you again, Jordan. It's a long way from 2003 when we first met, when you first were started into the housing business.
Yep.
So I think you've gone very far.
Yep. Today, I would like to ask you, I would like to find out a few things because I think a lot of people would like to know, why do you choose to come to Johor?
Well, I'm in semi-retirement, and life in Singapore, as you know, we are a bit hectic. We are living close together, so I was looking for a place that was quiet, initially to spend my weekends, and there is some space to do a bit of planting.
Yep.
And we found that Leisure Farm offers all these facilities.
Yes, I remember the last time when I first learned that you're coming to Leisure Farm. You drove me here, and the place is still with a lot of open land. That's it. And then you are the first one who brought me to Leisure Farm to see like, oh, there's actually an estate in Johor that's totally different from outside. So yeah, that was amazing that I got this opportunity to get to know Leisure Farm. You are the one who brought me here.
Actually, when we first came here, a lot of people were concerned.
Yeah.
My family was also concerned because they thought that it was too quiet.
Yes.
And there were only 4 units under construction here.
Oh, wow,
and of course,
I remember that.
for many Singaporeans, security is always at the back of their mind. But then, since we settled down, we have got something like 11 or 13 friends who have also moved into leisure.
Yes, I remember you introduced a few of them to me. And that time when I came, me as a Malaysian, instead, I was like, oh, why do you choose to come here? I was a little bit more of the mindset where I thought, wow, Leisure Farm is something that it's just Johor. So you opened my mind to that. So I would like to know more, like, why do you have this mindset where you can open up to such an area like in Johor, where in Singapore is a city, you have a lifestyle where it's different.
When I was growing up, I used to stay in a house like this in Singapore, in the east, in Frankel Estate.
Yes.
But as the years go by, bungalow house became very rare.
Yep.
And before I came here, I was serving for 10 years in Indonesia.
Okay.
And we were living in nice old Dutch houses.
Oh, wow.
So the thought of coming here was where you could build a house to your taste. Yeah, I think here you could design your own house.
Yes.
You could do what you want with it. And this being my second house, it gave me a lot of opportunity. It was a learning curve.
Yep.
Yeah, you remember the first house down the road?
I remember. The first house is as good as this one. I think later we would like to take a video of your house. And unfortunately, the first house I didn't have that opportunity. But when I visited that from scratch, when you build to the materials you get from overseas, and I always tell all my clients that if you want to build a good house with good materials, look for my advisor, my mentor.
Yeah. Well, you remember the whole house was designed as a Balinese style.
Yes.
Because that was what I was comfortable in Indonesia. So it was a good learning curve. The first time you're building a house, but I had friends who helped me. I had some friends who are architects. Bobby, you probably met.
I remember him.
And they were very helpful to go around and help me in the house.
So speaking of the lifestyle, right, coming to Singapore to Johor, what is any different that you find that is hard for you to adapt or hard for you to go about, or anything that you would like to share?
Well, I think the most important was that I like entertaining, and when I was in Indonesia, the lifestyle there, but you were always entertaining. Entertainment was at home. You invite friends for dinner and so on. So I think when you come here in a leisure farm, it provides you that opportunity. You could do it indoors, outdoors. In Singapore, you are confined into the 4 walls of your apartment. And that was very important. And we had many occasions when we had friends and family here. You know, I think you've been to some of my my gatherings, and I think that is one thing that most of my friends enjoy. So, you know, and in Singapore, people are very conscious about their car parking, time. But when they come here, they forget. You know, they relax and they can sit down. They don't worry about the car. They don't worry about parking. So
no more HDB coupon. No more cash cards. Yeah. How about the activities? Like what do you think Johor? Anything that you love about spending time here as compared?
Well, I think the thing that strikes me most here was that there's opportunity to go outdoors, to plant plants, you know, fruit trees, some flowers, which is almost impossible to do in Singapore.
Yep.
And of course, like I said, you know, when we first came here in 2003, things were not so well developed.
Yep.
But now today, after almost 20 years, the infrastructure has improved tremendously.
Yes.
And it's very comfortable living here.
Yep.
And I think, of course, everybody has to find their own niche, you know. But I think if you are going to retire, you want a slower pace of life, and you want to stretch your dollar, living here can be very pleasant.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of places to go out and dine.
Yep.
It's easy for you to get help, you know, to maintain your garden or swimming pool, which in Singapore, this is not possible.
Yeah. Okay. So one of the thing, right? A lot of I guess foreigner or Singaporean will be asking a big questions like security. Can I have my big car? Can I flash my cash? Can I, can I go out walking without a guard, for example? So what do you think of that?
Well, actually, I always tell them that, you know, it's the same everywhere. You know, even in Singapore, you know, when you say it's crime-free, it doesn't mean that there's no crime.
Yeah,
there is
course,
still crime, you know. But I think so far in Leisure Farm, the security has been excellent.
Yeah.
With almost 20 years here, I have not had any security problem.
Wow,
you know?
20 years.
And in fact, there have been occasions when I have left my front door key. If you remember the old house, we don't even have a fence. So, but we have never had any problems so far.
Okay, we cannot review the house number. You always never lock your door and all this, right?
But then I think people have to be street smart.
Yes.
I mean, that's not wise for you to go around flashing your money, and then when you're in the streets, you know. So I think this is something that you know people must get used to.
Don't bring too many Prada bags.
Yeah, you know. But I think if you are mindful of what you're doing, I think it's just as safe and secure as in Singapore. You know, so you just don't go to the dark places at night. You know. I remember there was one case where a lady was robbed, you know, but she came to Johor and she was going back at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And then she wanted to buy some fruits, but she didn't want to stop in front of the fruit store because she went and parked the car in a dark alley and left her children. You know, so that is not being street smart. I think that's not being wise.
Yeah, the case is because she has a big car. She doesn't want the store to.
Yeah, she's worried that the store will be a bit more expensive when they see it's a Singapore car, you know. But then, and when you are driving back at 1 a.m. in the morning, you know, I don't think it makes a big difference.
Okay. That was a Singaporean cars, and that is one of the case that is quite interesting. Thanks for sharing that.
When I first came here and we were building a house, you know, I used to come every fortnight to meet the contractors. And when you go to the clubhouse, people come up to you and tell you, oh, you're building a house there.
Wow, that's
and
nice.
they give you a lot of pointers, what to look for in the contractor, what to look for when you're building a house, where you can get things that you want to do. And I think that's very pleasant. It's a nice community. You know, you have your privacy, but people are helpful when you need their help.
Especially for leisure farm, I heard, because they have a tight community where they kind of like have a fresh market, that kind of farmers market,
Yeah,
and they have like I think a group or something that they will help each another from a social media.
We have our Facebook group, Leisure
Oh,
Farmer.
Facebook group.
And I think people, if you go through there, you can see, people are very helpful. Sometimes they want to get the ride to town. They just ask anybody is going down to Singapore, can I catch a ride?
Wow.
Or if you want to buy something, you want to upholster your furniture.
Oh.
So people always share
Yes.
ideas, and then they give information. And that's what makes living here very pleasant.
Oh. Actually, another thing I noticed is the eco-friendliness here. Because a lot of residents here are quite eco-friendly, and they take care of each other's compound. They do a lot of planting. Like I know you are very good with your dragon fruits and your plants as well. Yeah, that's one of the things you are quite enjoying for the community, right?
Yes. I think because I think people are more aware of the green stuff, pollution, and they look out for each other.
Yep.
So you see that with all the development that's going around us, you find that Leisure Farm has become a haven for all the fauna. You see the monkeys, the alligator, the monitor lizard.
Yeah.
They're all coming to find haven here,
Yes.
and I think people like that. You can see this, and people make sure that they don't harm the animals. Of course, you will get the odd one who are not familiar. They will feed the animals, but by and large, I think this is a haven not only for us
Yes.
who wants to live here,
Yes.
but even for all the the fauna.
Yeah.
I see all the monkeys, and you get birds coming down.
Yeah.
People who watch the birds.
Yeah.
And I think lately we have been able to see hornbills.
Oh, wow.
And these are birds that fly, migrate from the southern part of India to say Borneo.
Yep.
And then I think along here, these are the green patches where they find it is convenient for them to stop.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that's very nice.
Wow, that's also show that this area has the ecosystem where it's suitable for them, where they will fly here and they will, stay. I mean, the more is for humans, because speaking of living in the nature, where it's so lacking everywhere, Singapore, Johor, I think Leisure Farm kind of provide for that. Yeah, so it's
I think it's the Leisure Farm provides a lifestyle for everybody. It's what you want, and you can do this.
Yep.
You can live in a townhouse with 2 bedrooms, or you like to buy a 1 acre lot and build a massive house. This is possible here.
Yep.
And it's not possible in Singapore. And today, I think you realize that the market is all for the bungalow lots. A lot of expatriates who are working in Singapore, they prefer to stay here.
yeah.
And the number of schools, institutions that has come out, that has attracted people to come to Leisure Farm.
Speaking of ambassador for Leisure Farm, I always tell people that Jamil is one of the pioneer person who came to Leisure Farm. You always speak for Leisure Farm, and now there you go. You are even the ambassador for Iskandar Johor.
Very kind, Jordan.
No, I mean it. I think a lot of people will also want to know, like, how's your social life? Or is there any? Will it affect your social life? Coming to here as compared to your community back in Singapore and all this.
Well, I suppose at my age, you enjoy your social life a lot. It's among a close circle of friends.
Yes.
And you don't spend time in a nightclub where a lot of noise. So here it gives you that opportunity to invite your friends to sit down and have dinner and chat.
Yep.
Whereas in Singapore, you invite somebody to their house, he's always thinking, what time I've got to go back, my car park expires. So I think this is very, very attractive here.
Yeah. In a way that everyone is more relaxed, and then at the same time, because of the like-mindedness, you kind of have this community of friends that is here with you. Yeah.
And I have a maid who has been with us for 18 years.
Yes.
In fact, she's going back end of this week to get married, you know.
Oh.
So she has been very positive, you know.
Okay.
So she enjoys having people come and
That's
entertain,
nice.
you know.
Yeah. I met her a few times.
And she sets things up, you know. You could invite about 70, 80 people, and it's no problem for her. You know? So that's something I don't think you can do in Singapore. It's very possible here.
Okay. So actually, one more thing I think the public would like to know is when you sold your first house with a good profit, by the way, in Leisure Farm, and in Polo View itself, and after that, you decided to buy a land to build. So I shown you a few places and all this thing, and you decided here again in Polo View, in Leisure Farm. Do you mind to share with us what?
If you remember the first house, it was double story.
Yes.
You know, you had a room upstairs, and my wife had a fracture, and it was difficult for her to go up. You know, so then we decided that it's time for us to live in a single-story house. So we went around. We saw a lot of properties, a lot of lots, and you know, Ledang High and all that. But somehow we find that we are comfortable here. You know, I think initially because of the security.
Yes.
So my wife was not keen. Is that either we get a lot here in Leisure Farm or we go back to Singapore. You know, but we were lucky that you know, I had a friend. You know, you met my friend Ben Freitag.
Yes, I did.
So this lot belonged to him.
Oh yes.
And he was happy to sell it to us. So we managed to build this house.
Okay.
And then doing it the second time, of course, was a lot
easier.
You learn, and you know, and I had, like I said, I had a few friends, like you met John, Bobby, you know. So they have been with me almost every day, and we managed to build this house in 1 year exactly.
Wow. That's especially for such a nice house. And I think one of the things that we would like to later video is your house.
Sure.
I think,
You're welcome.
And we'll get some photos of your previous house as well, and I can share with the public if you don't mind.
Sure.
That would be very nice. And if you don't mind, I end the interview with one of a small request, because I think my fans would like to know why do you choose to work with me?
You know, way back in 2003, you remember that I was looking for a small apartment, you know, for my son, and it was coincident that you also at that time called me to tell me that you are now full time into properties, you know, and I told you, I gave you what I wanted, you know, and you came back within the week, you know, and you brought me, and the first unit that I looked at was exactly what I wanted. I wanted a small apartment without neighbors, with the greenery in front, and so I think, you know, so that helps to build a relationship. And later on, you know, and you remember after that when my friends were looking for houses, so I think you got my classmate. We've been in school some 40, 50 years ago, you know, so you managed, he came to the house. And he liked it, and you managed to secure for him another house in the next block. So I think that's how the thing started. And I think you start building up confidence, you know. And it's not just being an agent and a property owner. I think as you go along, you become friends, become comfortable. And of course, when friends wants to ask you, it's not easy to recommend anybody or to suggest people, because when you don't know them. But in your case, I know you so well, you know, so I know that you will attend to the customers, you know, meet their requirements as much as possible.
Speaking of referrals, wow, the list will go on and on. For 16 years, 18 years, you have been referring friends after friends after friends, and my list will go on. Wow, so this is it. So this is my beloved first client in Singapore, Mr. Jamil. 18 years ago. What an honor. I feel so loved and blessed to have his trust and support all these years from Singapore to Johor Bahru. Really, thank you so much, Jamil, for this opportunity and to spend your time with me this evening to share about your lifestyle. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your time and all the support. Thank you so much.
Welcome. I'm sure we hope this to be a longer relationship and
Yes.
every success to your future ventures.
Yes, thank you so much.
Grow rich with Jordan, grow rich from within. Join us!
Come join us by clicking here.
Join us.
Join us!
Join us.
Join us here. Join us.
Join us!
Join us.